Sylvia Alice Earle, oceanographer, scuba diver, and research scientist, born August 30th, 1935 in Gibbstown, New Jersey. Sylvia's parents, Alice and Louis Earle, raised her on a small farm in New Jersey. Growing up, she was fascinated by the creatures and the plants that lived in the wild. She spent the majority of her time exploring the woods around her house. Both of her parents did not have a college degree, but they also enjoyed the outdoors and taught Sylvia to respect wildlife and to not be afraid of the unknown. At age 13, her family had moved to Clearwater, Florida. Being so close to the Gulf of Mexico, she learned a lot about the wildlife. Her hobby was just exploring the outdoors around her. Sylvia's parents could not afford for Sylvia to go to college, but that did not stop her. She worked super hard and was an exceptional student and won scholarships to Florida State University. During her time at university, she supported herself by working in college laboratories. At this time, she also learned to scuba dive and was fascinated by all aspects of the ocean and marine life. She was also determined to use new technology to study marine life firsthand. She graduated from the University of Florida State at age 16, earned her master's degree in botany from Duke University at the age of 20, and received a PhD in botany from the University of Duke in 1966. In 1969, she published her dissertate, Phaeophyta of the Eastern Gulf of Mexico, where she collected over 20,000 samples of algae. She is the first ever marine scientist to conduct such an extensive and in-depth study firsthand on aquatic plant life. In 1964, Earle was invited on a 6-week voyage to the Indian Ocean on a National Science Foundation research vessel, which was not offered to any other women at that time. She was named residential director of the Cape Hayes Marine Laboratory in Sarasota, Florida in 1965, and in February of 1968, Earle joined a group of scientists in the Bahamas as part of the Smithsonian Institution Man-in-Man-Scene project, where she was descended 100 feet below the Earth's surface in a submerged vehicle and entered the habitat. She was the first woman scientist to do this. Earle led an all-female team to the Virgin Islands, where for 2 weeks they observed and photographed marine life that surrounded the waters. In 1970, Earle collaborated with Earle Giddings, an undersea photographer. They explored a battleship graveyard in the South Pacific and followed great sperm whales on a series of expeditions featured in the documentary Gentle Giants of the Pacific in the 1980s. She also worked with Giddings on her book Exploring the Deep Frontier, which talked about her experience walking on the sea floor at the lowest depth any person has ever been at, 1,250 feet, and explored the seafloor for 2.5 hours. In 1980s, Earle teamed up with an engineer, Graham Hanks, her third husband at that time, and started a company that was designed and built underwater vehicles that helped scientists work at unprecedented depths. In 1990, Earle was appointed the chief scientist of the NOAA, the first woman to hold this position. She published Sea Change, A Message of the Ocean, a call of action to preserve the Earth's ocean in the 1995. Throughout her whole career so far, Earle has authored more than 200 publications, lectured in more than 80 countries, and led more than 100 marine expeditions. She has received 27 honorary degrees and more than 100 honors around the world. Sylvia has had the opportunity to dive in all 5 of the world's oceans. She has also played a lead role in establishing marine protected areas. Sylvia is such an inspiration to me because I can see how much she cares about her work and how much she cares about the ocean as well. Sylvia is able to travel around the world, creating such a big impact on the environment throughout her research. When I become a marine biologist in the future, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to travel the world doing research to better the environment and educate people around the world about the impacts that they have. Most recent research paper that Sylvia was published in is The Forgotten Ocean, Why COP26 must call for vastly greater ambitions, and urgencies to address ocean changes. This article did not have any figures, unfortunately, but it talked about why it is crucial to fully recognize the key roles that the ocean has. Additionally, it discussed how the ocean is being affected by rising global emissions, which is why people need to take action sooner. Sylvia is not expected to retire anytime soon and is still conducting research on marine algae at this current moment.